Hey loves, it's Britt, and in this video I'm going to talk about natal sun trine moon. So if you were born with the sun trine to the moon in your natal chart, let's talk about this aspect. So I feel like this aspect is one of the luckiest aspects that you could have in your natal chart. I used to always be really jealous of people that had sun trine moon because I have sun square moon. So I was like, oh, you guys, like, it must feel so good to have that. So, the reason I want to talk about this aspect is, well, many reasons. I love talking about all aspects, but I feel like people with this placement do not realize the gifts that have been bestowed upon them because it's such a natural part of their consciousness. That's why I really like to emphasize trines because trines are so easy and so flowing that it's easy to miss them. It's easy to actually miss your soul gifts because the squares are taking up so much of your thought time and your consciousness because of the difficulty, right? And then we end up missing these natural soul gifts that we have. So these people have a very natural balance between their masculine and feminine energy, at least in regards to their sun and moon. Classical interpretations will say that people with the sun trine to moon had parents that were compatible, or their early upbringing showed them a balance of masculine and feminine energy. So, like, sometimes the parents got along good, or they just, even if they didn't, they projected compatibility and harmony. And so this person doesn't have an uncomfortable split between masculine and feminine energy. Now, if they had like a Venus square Mars or something, that could show they do still have a little bit of a split. But as far as their ego, identity, their sun sign, their light, right, and their moon, their inner feelings, their emotional self, their feminine self, there's a harmony there. There's an ease in early messaging. So, I mean, there's many things that could show a good childhood. This one aspect alone won't say for sure that the childhood was like totally good, right? No one aspect can say that. But it is likely that the childhood was at least somewhat emotionally nurturing to the person, and they felt like they could express their emotions, they could express their ego, their individuality, and be seen for that. And so it's common with this aspect for the child to be kind of like encouraged to develop their creativity, like in whatever way. It's like the upbringing, either it provided an opportunity for them to express themselves creatively, sorry, in a myriad of ways. Like maybe they did lots of different activities as a child, and it also shows a very naturally talented energy where it's easy for them to pick things up and learn how to do things, and like there's an ease and grace in their being because the sun and moon are the biggest energies in our natal chart, the two brightest lights, right? And so there's an ease in their ability to do things creatively, or, and they might not even realize this. That's what I've noticed is like people with sun trine to moon are so naturally gifted. They're so like able to do so many different things very well, like a natural talent. And like, surely some things they'll be more talented at than others, but it's almost like there's like an innate confidence that whatever it is, they can take it on, and they might not even consciously realize this, right? Because the moon is like more unconscious, but it's like whatever they decide to try, they know they can do it, and thus they end up being good at many things. So it does show really good unconscious messaging going on. Like it's like the neurons in the brain are firing positively for them to be able to be successful. And the sad part is that, like I said, a lot of them don't realize this because it's an easy aspect. They don't realize how magical they are. They don't realize how they could literally just pick anything and they could probably be good at it. So that's why I like to reinforce this aspect a lot, because it's so lovely to see. And sure, you may have other challenges, other places in your natal chart that'll show the difficult things in your life. I'm not saying it's a cakewalk, but having your biggest energies, the luminaries, your sun, your brightest light in your natal chart, your confidence, where you're going in life, in harmony with your moon, your emotional self, and your inner feminine and your childhood energy, your inner child. It's so powerful. You have such a strong manifestation ability and such a strong ability to create in your life. It's a very creative aspect. Although trines can sometimes be a little bit lazy, right? So often too with this aspect, it is maybe that things were a little bit too easy for them, or they early on in life they might not apply themselves as much. Let's say as people that have like the conjunction of sun and moon that are just real go-getters, right? The square will sometimes hold people back to the point of not accomplishing anything, but it also can motivate them to accomplish like tons of things that maybe aren't truly what they want, because it's harder to reconcile that split. And the opposition deals more with relationships, and a lot of them, and having a lot of different energies and projections and things like that. But the trine is so powerfully creative, but because of the laziness in it and because of the ease, it's sometimes like that they don't, like I said, they don't try to do as many things as they could, but guaranteed if they try, they can, because the inner messaging is like, I can do it, you know? So another thing I want to talk about with this trine is, so the element that this trine is taking place in. Is it fire? Is it water? Is it earth? Is it air? Okay? That's where the giftedness lies. That's the energy that they can just rock it, right? So fire is going to double up that creativity, right? That's going to be like, they're very high energy. They have tons of creative energy. Fire, sun, moon trine is going to show that very strongly. Air is going to show communication or intellectual ability, right? Air signs. Water signs is going to show a strongly emotional nature and a great potential to get along with people emotionally, or even like work in the healing fields or like counseling or things like that, right? Being connected to the emotions, which can also be difficult when we have a trine and water signs, because emotionally the valve is open. So if this person is a man, it's like, this is a very emotional man, and sometimes it's not as easy to be a man on this planet with emotion. So if the trine is happening in water, it shows a very emotional person, which is a gift, but it can be perceived negatively, right? Because the world at times is not a safe space for water sign dominant people, right? That's just a fact, but it's still a very strong gift. And then what's up? Earth. Yeah, Earth is going to show that resourcefulness, right? And ability to like succeed as far as the practical, concrete aspects of life. So yeah, I love this aspect. Very creative, potential for laziness or not knowing your giftedness, because it's just so ingrained, it's so inborn, it's so unconscious to you how much of a natural you really are, and how much when you focus that energy you can be, do, or have anything that you desire, because you have your inner masculine and inner feminine working for you. Or actually the sun is kind of like your outer masculine and your inner feminine working together in a beautiful harmony and unison. You can accomplish a lot. You have a great magnetism and power. It's also favorable for relationships. It's very favorable for romantic relationships, because our outward expression, and so for women, the sun can also show a bit of what she expects her husband to be, or what her father was, along with Saturn and Jupiter. And then the moon is like how she expresses her femininity, and then vice versa for men. So the moon is like what he expects of his wife to be, or what he expects women to be at that maternal level, what his mother was like, right? And this can go both ways, like whatever you identify as or whatever your sexuality, right? That the sun is the masculine, the moon is the feminine. So, and then the sun is how he projects his ego outwards. So when these are in harmony, you have a lot less conflicts with other people. Usually, if they're both, square or opposite to Pluto, maybe that's another story. But yeah, usually with this, we're going to see more relationship harmony and more, especially in the domestic realm, like maybe casual flings, like that's more Venus Mars realm, but like Sun Moon is like the husband and wife. And so we can see these people have pretty good stability in their long term relationships, pretty almost even to some people maybe like a boring level of stability in their relationships, because they have this internal masculine feminine harmony. So it's easier to attract what's truly right for us, and then we're able to get along with people fairly well with this aspect. And it's not a very pushy aspect. It's like we're able to be in our masculine and feminine, like in harmony, and you can generally, like, they get along with people, or they have a very unassuming or unthreatening kind of aura because of this inner harmony that actually people feel. I don't know where I read this, but I read something about the moon being kind of like your aura, right? The moon can be like what people feel off your energy field. So when the sun and moon are harmonious, it's like people feel this coherence. They feel like warmth and like inner stability, and they feel comfortable around you. And so this can do well for harmonious relationships. So yeah, I'd love to know your experience of this natal aspect. If you have this in your natal chart, let me know, what's it been like for you. I'd love to know, and thank you for your requests, you guys. Keep your requests coming, and we'll talk soon. Bye.